If you are black, this should piss you off. It has no audio, but massive brawl erupts on Carnival cruise custom line, 16 people involved. And this is ridiculous that people in 2026 are acting like animals. Unfortunately, it's primarily black people around. And this is not just one occurrence. It's not anecdotal. This is constant seeing brawls, fights, riots coming from the black community. Does this represent every single black person in America? Absolutely not. But as a minority, specifically as a black person, this should piss you off. Me as a minority with some African roots in my bloodline, or gene pool, if you will, this should piss you off. Because we constantly get, specifically the black community, constantly gets this stereotype that people are scared of you. People are a bit more fight or flight around black people. Lots of groups of black people. And we wonder why. We wonder why we continue to see these brawls, these fights. Spring break of last year or this year, we saw bunch of fights coming from the black community on the streets. We saw here in the NBA finals, lots of black people beating up black people. We saw in the summertime, now that kids are out in these communities, I forgot where it was, but people are going on vacation, prominently black people jumping on cars, acting fools, fighting each other. This is just not an anecdotal thing. This is specifically coming from Carnival, and Carnival is known for low budget cruises. It's actually probably the cheapest cruise line out there. And it's known to have videos like this literally from Carnival. And it's usually black people fighting black people or fighting somebody. Look it up all over YouTube. Carnival is becoming like the ghetto of all cruises. And why? Because it's low income. And unfortunately, low-income people are not only black people. There's definitely white people, Latinos, different people groups that are low income, but it does draw a lot of black people to Carnival because it's more affordable. Not to saying that black people cannot afford the more expensive ones, because clearly they can, but you don't see videos like this because why? They're more sophisticated. They're more controlled. The fruit that they have is self-control. They're not acting like animals. So you won't see the higher cruise lines acting like animals because they don't act like that. And unfortunately, these kind of videos give black people a bad name. Minority as a whole, but specifically black people. And it's sad because it's not represent black people, at least the black people that I know, this does not represent at all. They're not ghetto. They're smart. They own businesses, multimillionaires, successful, great parents, great fathers, great men of God. Heck, my best friend is black, and I wouldn't be the man I am if it wasn't from him. So it's sad that these black people are continuing to give fuel to the people that say, this is why we're pissed. This is why we don't trust black people. This is why. It's not a white person's fault. This is not a white person's fault. Seeing what we're seeing in the streets is not a white person's fault. So when we see people, specifically white people, afraid of being around black people, when we start seeing videos like this continue to pop out, you wonder why. And the black community should be speaking up against this garbage, this insanity that we keep seeing across the internet. Now there's cameras everywhere. This is nuts. Are there white people doing this too? Yeah, but not at the scale of black people. And this should upset you. The black community should be speaking against this and telling black people to stop acting like animals. What could possibly have been said or done to result in this? It's crazy. But again, this is not the only one. I could sit here all day showing you video after video after video. And so this should upset you as it does for me, because I know a lot of black people that have done a fantastic job in adding value to community, not acting like animals. And this just continues to come up. When you think about segregation or slavery, segregation, and then obviously became free from all that. And Black people have worked so hard not to look uneducated, to, you got to think like they were suppressed back then, right? And then all of a sudden, Black people could start getting educated and getting education, getting better schools, and start to have access to things like the white people. Well, majority of Black people started to what? Add value to society. Why? Because they were able to have access to the same thing. And so after segregation and all that stuff was over, the Black community was actually starting to get respected. If you start seeing the early Black fathers after that, they had jobs, they were lawyers, doctors, they were starting to be in movies, music, sophisticated, suit and ties, wrapped up in the culture, wrapped up in the educated, well-spoken, well-read, sophisticated. It's not a white person thing. It's just being civilized. It's not white people, not the only people that are smart, right? And they were just adding society. And before Bill Cosby became Bill Cosby, as far as what he did now, who he is, but people like Bill Cosby, people like just the old school, African community, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all these people that were educated started to change the culture of what people see Black people for. And by seeing videos like this, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the people that were adding value or great entertainment, great, thought leaders would be pissed off to see this happening. They said, man, we worked so hard to get out of this stereotype, and y'all animals keep putting us back into this. And so Daniel, why do you think this keeps happening? Why do you think, and I said this before in another video, but why do you think this is happening? Well, I know why this is happening. At least my opinion. As I think, and I'm not saying who it is, but as I think is people started to see that the Black community started to really add value to society, become doctors, lawyers, right? Owners of companies, entertainment, and a certain people group did not like that. Okay. So that certain people group said, you know what, we can't have this. So then rap was cool when it first came out. I think rap was awesome. Sure, certain people doesn't like it, but I think rap was cool. But rap became hip hop. And then the rap culture started to change. Right? And what did it change to? It changed to objectifying females, drugs, drinking, chasing money, chasing women, thug rap, right? Gangster rap. Do you know that Tupac was a ballerina? Look it up. Tupac was a ballerina. And so they found these people that could be bought by these record labels to start rapping music and start singing music that will be harmful to the Black community. Because the Black community started to rise up and become equal with the white community. And they didn't like that. I'm not saying it was the white people. I'm just saying whoever owned these labels, do your own research. Whoever owns these labels did not like that. So they started to produce gangster rap, right? They started to produce god-awful music. And so we continue to what? You start listening to trash, what will come out? Trash. And so this is a result of the music we listen to, the entertainment that we allowed to be entertained by. That's what this is. This is just manifesting, right, into being animals. And these rappers that have sold out and backstabbed their community is rapping about this god-awful heathenist stuff that adds no value to community to continue to perpetuate this garbage. That's what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing is years, if not decades of garbage music going into our youth minds, and now they're becoming adults, right? And they're producing this garbage. And it's sad because this does not represent majority of the black people. At least all the people that I know. This doesn't represent them. But it's unfortunate because video after video, look at Chicago, more black people kill black people than white people. That's just one state, one city. It's sad. And why? Because we continue to idolize these rappers who have sold out for money and fame. And they're just puppets to what? Puppets to the propaganda and the garbage that they rap about. When is the black community going to rise up and speak against these rappers? Jay-Z and Nas and all those guys. Snoop Dogg and, obviously he's old school, but even the new rappers. When is the black community going to say enough is enough? We're done buying your crappy music. We're done buying your garbage. We're done allowing you to poison our youth. And we're going to stop buying your crap. When is that going to happen? It's enough enough. Does this piss you off? That people can start using content like this to continue to make your community look like garbage? Make your community look, see, this is why. See, this is why. It doesn't represent majority of you. So the majority better start rising up and speaking up against this crap. If you're silent, people will continue to have the stereotype on black people. And it's sad. That's why I'm speaking up. I mean, this is like the 100th video I've seen about stuff like this. And I'm just like, enough is enough. If the black community is not going to speak up again, then I will. I'm not black. I have black ancestors from being Puerto Rican, but I am minority. And this doesn't represent me because in quote unquote, I'm living it. I'm living in successful businesses, entrepreneur, great family, great friends. Like, I don't feel oppressed. I don't feel like something held me back. I don't feel like, sure, was there some racism in the school that I went to in Texas, in Plano? Of course. It didn't hold me back. Maybe I didn't have opportunities that I could before, but I don't blame anybody. So when is enough enough? When is the black community going to stop listening to the garbage and being entertained by garbage? Allowing these sold out rappers and sold out, R&B artists, singing this garbage, putting poison into your youth. This is just what's manifesting. This is the fruit of. Enough is enough, man. Start speaking out because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Don't have a racist problem. We just continue to buy into crap that they give us. Stop subscribing to it. Start producing good fruit, adding value, be a humanity that's respecting of all races, all cultures. But instead, we allow garbage come into our youth to then produce garbage. You may disagree, but facts don't lie.